I woke up, saw Twitter was exploding with all of this new announcement stuff, and I had a panic attack because I was like, no, I can't read this yet. I have to watch the video first. And then Maximilian had his video, and I was like, okay, I'm going to watch this. I'm going to go over this. I skimmed through it a little bit, like with no volume or anything, and it doesn't look like it's like anything new visually, and it's mostly just him talking, but I am so curious to hear. Because apparently it's stuff that they didn't announce. I don't know why they didn't announce this at Game Fest, and we have to hear it this way, but it is what it is. Max Dude, the maxest of dudes. Are you guys ready? I'm just gonna like go into it because I can't control it anymore. I need to see it. I need to see it right now. I need to know, so then we can like spend the rest of stream talking about it. Are you guys ready? Let's just go into it right off the bat, okay? Click the tempting triangle. I will click the triangle.
Let's go!
It's a very intense opening. I've never watched one of his videos before.
What's up, dudes? Max here, back from Summer Games Fest and some impressions of games at the show. And today's a pretty important one because it is revolving around an approximate 15 to 30 minute gameplay demonstration that we saw with our own eyes of Monster Hunter Wilds. And I'm not gonna beat around the bush. This game was effing amazing.
Effing amazing. Yeah, I don't think he gets to actually show any of the gameplay they showed because it was, so from what I've heard, it was basically a hands-off demo. So I think he's just going to be playing the trailer on repeat in the background, but we shall see.
Let's get started because this was effectively my game of the show. I'm trying to think of how I describe this because again, this was an actual in-game demonstration from Capcom. There were like build issues sometimes with it, which means it's active and not actual, you know, BS. And they effectively took us through a hunt of one of the most basic monsters, essentially the big cover art monster. I think it's the Doshuguma. I think from a perspective of the trailers that we had before, I was kind of expecting something. And this was not it. And what we see in the trailers does look really cool and exciting. And as they're pitching it to us, it does sound neat. But to me, the trailers like seem like kind of a bit of smoke and mirrors and like, oh, I think this is CG. I think this isn't. So I wasn't expecting that level of polish when it came to the game itself. And believe it or not, the game itself had that level of polish. And I was kind of mind blown as a result. My apologies if I'm using trailer footage and screenshots to go through during this because we did not get any like B-roll of game.
Told you I was right. Not like it matters, but I was right.
Play stuff. This was just based on our impressions in describing this, so I might sound like a crazy person every once in a while. My apologies, but this is the best I have to work with. This game is 100% a sequel to Monster Hunter World. There is not much in...
Wait, how does he know that? What does he mean it's 100% a sequel to Monster Hunter World? What does he mean?
Commonality with a game like Monster Hunter Rise, which came after World, except for...
Is he just saying that like is he calling it a sequel to World because it's like more similar to World than it is Rise? Yeah, is he just talking about like visually and not like story wise, right? Because yeah, I was like they flat out said they will never make sequels. Okay. He should not have said those words. Those were very poorly used words.
For the fact that you do have a mount, right? And obviously, you know, the Sacred, which is the bird raptor-like mount
I like
that you
Secret
have,
better.
Is pretty similar to the dogs that were obviously in Monster Hunter Rise. So I think from my perspective, just to like break down my emotions and feelings of this play session, I'm just going to go through what I remember them doing and sort of just give you a heads up on little moments in between of this 15-minute.
Okay, this is not related to this at all, but this right here, let's this looks sus as fuck. That was an awkward pause, man.
Presentation. I did watch it twice. Again, I went in for a second time to see how different it was, and it was substantially different on a second viewing, and a lot of different stuff happens. So it is a very dynamic world. You start off in like the hub, and immediately like a lot of the flourishes from Monster Hunter World are all over the place. Game's just got a really distinct visual art style. The smithy girl is there. Everyone's
smithy
there,
girl.
and then you go out on a hunt. You effectively pull up the map and just...
So he's not talking about how the game is going to start. This is just how the demo started. Their like hands-off demo started with them just being in the hub, which that alone, hey, we have a hub. Everyone was worried because this had like a very open world feel that we wouldn't have a hub, but he just confirmed we have a hub. So yay, a hub. I wish he said how many people could be in that hub, but fuck yeah, a hub.
Just look at the extremely detailed map that the hunter pulls up, and you see all the flora and fauna and things just running around.
Just running around? Our flora should not be running around. Our flora should not be running around. Also, wait, what does that mean, fauna running around? Do you just see on... He said he saw this on the map. Is he talking about like you pull up the map and you can just see the monsters moving around on the map? Because if so, that sucks.
The amount of detail and information is just nuts when this thing happens. And you select the Doshiguma and like the herd that it's in, and it immediately pulls up not a quest list like you go to a board. You just sort of see quests that are available.
Oh, okay, wait. So the monster is on the map and you click it and that's how you start your quest? Wait, how does the hub work then? If there's a hub, wait, how do you join other people's quests?
And you just selects it, and it's just like you begin the quest. So
okay,
you call the sacred and you leave.
Okay, well, it's kind of cool, I guess. Wait, what's the point of the guild lady then? What's the point of Alma? Because the point of Alma is always supposed to be them giving us our quests. So what's her point if you just click the map to start your quest?
The old school tried and true way of Monster Hunter of like your hub world, and then you select your quest, you load, you enter that zone, is not here anymore. It's just all seamless now. So you just jump on the back of your sacred and you go. Your palico follows you. Your handler also follows you, and you start making your way out.
I wonder if the handler's always gonna follow you, or if the handler only follows you like for this specific preview. Yeah, maybe this isn't like, yeah, is Alma always gonna be there? Or is this just like a story thing?
In this process, we see the hunter collecting things, using the slinger to actually grab bugs and stuff.
Okay, we
really
saw
far
that
away. You just
in
point the camera
the trailer
at that bug, and you press circle, and the hunter will literally yoink it off the wall with like a grappling hook. And I'm like, oh, that's cool. So you can sort of use the slinger to do stuff like that. They did explain that the map size, in comparison to something like Monster Hunter World, is significantly bigger. I think they use the term 2 to 3 times.
Okay, map size is 2 to 3 times bigger than World. Does this mean the overall map, or does this mean per biome? Since, like, you know, we have to have separated biomes. Like, that'd be weird. But either way, that's still fucking massive. Either way, just please don't be as complicated as Ancient Forest.
The size of a Monster Hunter World area, like the Ancient Forest, for example. So there's a lot of verticality to this. They showed like 3 levels of verticality to each zone.
No!
But
verticality means I'm gonna get lost all the time. No! I'm gonna have to make a counter for every time I get lost. Not the verticality, no. Fuck.
yeah, significantly vaster. And when you get out there, when you first like see the size of it, you're like, whoa, okay, you get this big vista.
What every guy wishes a girl would say.
Of the area as the hunter leaves like the base camp and starts moving out there. There's also several different areas you can choose to like circumvent that distance, where there's another part where they leave the camp and the sacred climbs across all these mountains. You see this stuff sort of like the trailer, and can sort of scale all this shit. And then
one thing he hasn't said is like in this scene right here, is the secret doing its sacred, whatever, I like secret. Is it like doing this on its own? Because like he said, the secret does all the scaling and stuff. Does it auto take you to places when you choose? I'm guessing it auto takes you to a spot when you choose a quest on the map.
Then do a glide. The actual monster can glide across a big plain field.
Yeah, but do we control that
which is
glide?
Cool. It means like you just have more cool looking traversal options.
Do we control
now,
that
before going
glide?
out on a hunt, there's a really specific icon like location, like a glowy part of the map, which signifies that you can create a base camp.
Base camp.
And instead of there being an inherent base camp like there is in all the other Monster Hunter games, there's ones that you can make across the map.
Okay, but there's still a hub. There's still a hub, but we make base camps. So it's like normally we find camps in the wild and we have to like, you know, in like world, you have to do like the request or whatever and fill the request to unlock that camp. Now we just make them wherever we want. That is very Wild Hearts like.
Map apparently. And you know, you can kind of pop it in and then palicos show up out of nowhere and they just craft this thing.
But he did say, didn't he say there's a glowy part on the map? Didn't he said it was glowy, right? So glowy part on the map indicates that it's like predetermined.
Out of like literally nothing. And suddenly you have like a functioning base camp, just like classic, you know, Monster Hunter World. But it seemed like these are acting as like checkpoints and like fast travel points for the entire map.
Just like
so as soon
World.
as you see these, you want to put up a base camp.
Okay,
However,
they are predetermined.
They can be destroyed. They even tried to show us later on that these are destructible. So there's some cool stuff that happens there. That like, hey, your base
bitch ass Rathian's gonna come in and destroy my base camp. Now we're just gonna have like more of a reason to want to murder monsters.
camps have to be maintained, you know, every once in a while, and you have to go out and make sure some of them are still there because monsters will, you know, actually beat them up. So anyway, our hunter has pinned the hunt. They go out on the hunt. Everything is seamless. There is no loading. The animations of the hunter on the back of the sacred, like moving around, are absolutely insane. The level of polish of just like the movement and mobility of the hunter on top of like the mount is just ridiculous. It looks so polished and so good. And then yeah, you come across the monster. And one thing I do want to start talking about is different interactive elements with creatures. I'm just trying to kind of cover them all in my head. Mounting is back from Monster Hunter World. You get
he's okay. We'll get to the mounting part in a second. My man Max needs to learn how to take pen and paper to these things. My man needs to learn how to take notes like you're in college so that you don't have to keep memorizing this stuff from your head. All right, like give us exact details, not from your memory, please, sir. Also, yeah, mounting, let's go.
Mount, and then you eventually do minor damage to the monster until you get a big topple attack. There is new crazy topple attack animations for every single weapon. I
don't really care if this is his thing. This is like a huge, it is so massive to like if you're going to a game event where you're getting shown a demo that no one else or very few other people get to see, get your information correct, please.
There's also now sneak attacks where you sneak up on a monster. And then you press like circle at a certain period of time if they're unaware of your position, and you get a big surprise like sneak attack, large amount of damage.
Oh my gosh, we're gonna be like 4 of us, like assuming it's 4 people to a hunt, and we're all just gonna be like in the crouched position, like a bunch of dummies hiding in bushes and stuff, trying to sneak up on monsters. Because that's gonna be the meta, right? Obviously, the meta is going to be to always get a sneak attack on a monster.
Right at the start, they also show a ghillie mantle when you sneak up on a monster.
Okay, or mantles.
So I'm assuming that...
so fucking mantles are back. All right.
Mantles are back. You know, it would make a lot of sense. They weren't there in Rise. So I'm not super thrilled about that, but, you know, still. And other things that we have seen are other ways to engage with monsters. You can jump off the sacred.
The only reason I'm like not super big on mantles coming back is that like I wanted wilds to be so new and different from world, but like the more they talk, the more it really is just very, very similar to world.
To potentially get that mantle attack, the mounting attack. And there's also now clash attacks, where depending on the weapon you have, we saw them in this demo.
Is that where is the clash attack where he like had his sword in the monster's mouth?
As I saw it with greatsword, as well as I think it was a heavy bowgun, where the monster will clash with you every once in a while. And this is that animation you see in the trailer of like holding the sword in the mouth of the
Max, now would have been a great time to put that on the screen.
monster and striking back. There was another one we saw of you cramming the heavy bowgun in the monster's mouth as it's
Again, this would have been a great opportunity to put that on the screen. Look, we all know that he just recorded something and put it on loop.
attacking you, which is like a clash attack, and then boom, you like fire a huge shot. The same thing happens with the great sword, you know, and you like slap them away.
Sure, so would be cool to see it
kind
again.
Of like cinematic things you can do with monsters. But anyway, Hunter engages the monster. There's a pack of, you know, these smaller versions of them. There's like the alpha one and smaller. I think it's Doshagumas is the name. My apologies. You know, there's a lot of stuff in here that, you know, is new. I don't think that we saw any monsters or like herbivores or anything in the world that resembled stuff that I remember from Monster Hunter Rise or World. So they might be from older games, but everything was like brand new.
Oh yeah, he really doesn't know much about Monster Hunter that much, I'm guessing. None of these that we've seen so far are returning. They're all brand new.
Whole point is that they want to separate the main monster from the pack, and they start introducing to us field traps in the world, things like vine traps that you can knock off trees, things like these like spiky bushes that do minor damage and slow down the monsters. We're trying to separate the alpha from the herd, because fighting them as a herd is kind of a huge pain in the neck. And as we do so, we start going over sand dunes and running away, and the music, dude, there's like pursuit music, there's like general world music, which is a very like calming theme, and then there's like, you know, beginning the hunt sort of music as you get close to monsters, and then there's like engaged, you begin the hunt and start fighting, and like the music like kicks in. It's all dynamic and changing, and as soon as the hunter runs away, it turns into like pursuit music, like you're either chasing or being chased by monsters. It felt all very.
So when do we get to find out the winners of the best monster theme then? Speaking of music, we never found out the winners for our best monster theme, and I'm sad because I wanted to know who won.
Very different and very organic as the fight was happening, and it was very cinematic and like action-packed, huge horns, and I'm probably gonna sound crazy describing it, but just trust me, it sounded ridiculously cool from an audio sort of experience. So they're like running away, and then they get to a part of the map that has a sand dune that looks like different than the rest, and the hunter tries to get the other monsters around it, and suddenly it's one.
How? Does he say how? I want to know how you get the other monsters around it. Because he just said, he did confirm that or at least the hunter made the monsters go around the dune. So how do we do that?
One of the other monsters we saw from the latest trailer, like these big sandworm, rockworm things, and it pops up and starts snatching one of the smaller Doshaguma out of there, and they all go into like a whirlwind sort of trap that is below the sand. The sand starts like sucking them up, and they're getting like potentially sent to a lower area of the map or something like that. But the alpha holds on because it's bigger and stronger,
it now, can you?
And all the other guys get sucked up and drop down, but the alpha climbs out and starts pursuing you. So naturally you begin fighting the alpha and engaging it with a variety of ways. We learn about focus mode, and focus mode is literally just a targeting reticle without needing like
I hope he's not fully right on that. I don't want to target reticle. Yeah, whatever.
Like, you know, a heavy bow gun or a bow and arrow. It allows you to specifically focus on the monster and target on weak spots, and technically aim attacks even with melee weapons. It's kind of hard to tell like how this works from a gameplay demonstration without actually utilizing it ourselves. But, you know, it is there, and as you focus, it will show weak spots if the monster is currently like, you know, weakened in a certain area, or if it's like damaged in some way. It'll be glowing when you go into focus mode.
Okay, we knew that.
That's cool. That's very cool. It seemed like Greatsword had a much different kit before. You know, granted, the devs are going to show a wide variety of things you can do with these weapons, and Greatsword was doing a lot more stuff than just generally, you know, true Greatsword slash. Like, and it was not doing just that all the time. There was a lot of like new cleaving animations and dragging animations that you see in the trailer. It looked very cool. and some massive like counter hit attack stuff where I was just like, whoa, that's new.
I'm gonna be screwed.
Still felt very heavy. Still felt very.
If every weapon ends up having like counters as like a huge part of the gameplay, I'm fucked.
Very like grounded, not the speedy sort of insanity that is Monster Hunter Rise. No, this game definitely feels like it is a sequel to Monster Hunter World in terms of the combat. And I had some gripes with the combat and the way it looked and sort of felt just from the trailers. It didn't seem like it was all there yet. No issues at all. In the actual gameplay demonstration, this gameplay demonstration, I swear looked so much better than what was in the trailers, just with the HUD and everything just active and engaged and doing stuff. Like, man, it was ridiculous.
I want to see the
amount
HUD.
of polish and the amount of, I'd say, budget at work here. This is easily Capcom's biggest game of all time, like without a doubt. Leading me to the next bit. Every zone that you're into has multiple like levels to it in terms of, I'd say, seasonal like ecology. And they start warning us that the townspeople around are warning the hunter that like, hey, there's a sandstorm's coming, and they're preparing for the sandstorm. So as you're fighting this Doshiguma, the aura of the entire area, which is this big sand dune, starts to change, and you look in the distance and there's this massive wall of sand, darkness filling the area, getting closer and closer. And as you're fighting the Doshiguma, whoa, shit comes in and everything changes.
Okay, if that actually happens while you're fighting and not just in the cutscene, that's going to be really fucking cool. That is going to be hell on my eyeballs, but it's going to be really, really neat if that actually happens while fighting and not just in a cutscene.
Changes. It turns from like day to dark. There's lightning everywhere. There's new hazards. Animals are acting differently. Like everything that suddenly
so
changed.
cool.
The environment is now a completely new place. The lighting is.
Oh, that's a good point. It has to, right? It has to. The sandstorm 100% has to make it easier to sneak attack on monsters. Like, don't even need ghillie mantle type because they can't see, right? So that has to play a huge part in being able to sneak attack.
Absolutely friggin' insane. The lightning itself is hitting and flashing and doing all this stuff. It can actually hit the monsters. You can see where it's happening. The zone is 10 times more dangerous now when this shit is going down. It's ridiculously cool. And like I said, you can check the map and it'll tell you like how much stuff has changed during this time frame. New collectibles, new things to look for. You're gonna want to like go on gathering missions and stuff like that.
New collectibles. We're gonna more endemic life to farm.
When these things are happening, it's like kind of important. So anyway, this is where they can continue the fight. And as they continue the fight, other monsters start showing up, because this isn't just a small zone, it's a massive zone with like multiple monsters. Usually before in Monster Hunter World, you would look on the map and see like 3 general big monsters at any given time. Now there's just like herds of Doshiguma everywhere. And there's this new sort of like hero giant dragon, not exactly Shigeru Magala from Monster Hunter Rise.
Oh, so he got to see more of it.
There's this new crazy lightning dragon monster that
there's no way, you know how I said that that's not the flagship, right? There's no way that has to be the flagship then if they showed that guy on like the hands-off demo. No way would they put the flagship in for that, would they? Because that feels like way too soon. I don't think it's the flagship.
That shows up, and what we're trying to do is lure our hunting prey to this lightning monster, so we bring it into its den and like effectively like make it mad to the other one. And yeah, they get into a turf war, so turf wars are back. But dude, this new crazy dragon thing that's in the trailer just lightning zaps everything, and it shoots these massive lightning attacks everywhere. It looks ridiculously cool. Some of the new monsters are kind of like crazy creepy looking and kind of gross. This thing looks like a very traditional Monster Hunter dragon type of thing, some badass looking dragon. Eventually we lead it away, try to get away from this thing, and in other playthroughs I saw, this dude just swooped in and kind of like was interrupting the hunt every once in a while. Seemed to be attracted to, you know, what the hunter was doing every once in a while. So, you know, there was a lot of like different things happening per playthrough as it was going through. More importantly, as you are like hunting and doing all this crazy stuff, the entire perspective of the landscape changes again. The sandstorm moves away, after like several minutes, and now it sort of like pushes out all the sand. The desert turns into a time of like bounty, or they called it like plentiful time, something of like, you know, now it's like practically spring, like we're going through seasons.
Oh, that makes sense. Okay, I was trying to sit here and think what he was talking about with like the whole pushes the sand away, and I was like, what does he mean by that? But that makes sense, because like underneath the sand is like a bunch of flora and shit. So then when the sandstorm pushes all the sand away, all the flora is exposed. I get it.
I don't know if they're trying to like give us the
Yeah, it has to affect the resources you can gather too, because like imagine there's so many resources underneath the sand you can't reach, so you have to wait for a sandstorm in order to be able to gather a bunch of this stuff.
impression that this hunt and the time we're taking on this hunt is taking like a long time, like years in terms of time frame, where just seasonal shifts are rapid in this world. But that's the idea, is that we're sort of going through seasonal shifts when you're,
because I wondered, like in the trailer, you know, it did show like different looking biomes, like some were covered in sand and some weren't. So that's pretty cool to know how that works. It's not necessarily that you go to a totally different biome without sand. It's like the sand has moved.
you're out here in these zones that are, you know, massive. We've only seen one of these sort of zones, but each zone, or at least this one, has 3 different times. And as the sand gets pushed out, you actually see plants, you actually see,
Yeah, so 3 different ones. There's like the where it's covered in sand, and then the sandstorm itself, I'm assuming, because it turns like all like dark and nighttime-ish, and so that would be the second one. And then the third one, when all the plants are revealed.
see greenery, you see like different regular herbivores and animals start showing up, or monsters start showing up in this part of the day. And then yeah, the hunter calls an SOS and, you know, shoots up an SOS. Even though we're not online, it calls in an SOS of 3 NPC hunters that show up all of a sudden.
I wonder if that'll work for everyone, or if they just did that for the demo. Like, I wonder if it'll always work, where if you're like offline, you can still hire in NPCs
and start assisting you, and then you follow the monster to its eventual cave, or I'm sorry, as it's damaged, it's going to go back home to some resting spot. And as you get there, the other hunters put bombs down, and you put a bomb down, but this time you can actually pick up bombs and roll them into the monsters, so you don't have to like do some crazy, you know, charge slash.
I'm gonna miss throwing my bombs all the time. How many times are we gonna throw bombs and it just rolls past the monster? We're like, damn it.
Thing and blow yourself up. And then they lead the monster out, you know, we eventually take it down. They did show us some gameplay of some new weapons, so we got to see like the hammer and the insect glaive. And hammer had some new crazy attacks to it, you know, new mounting attacks. Insect glaive had some new crazy Cirque du Soleil bullshit that it was doing, but it looked fairly traditional. I didn't
Wait.
blow yourself up. And then they lead the monster.
Wait, did he say you could blow yourself up?
You put a bomb down, but this time you can actually pick up bombs and roll them
into
he's talking
the monsters,
that you can't
so you don't
blow
have to
like do some
up.
crazy, you know, charge slash thing and blow yourself up. And then they lead the monster out, you know, we eventually take it down. They did show us some gameplay of some new weapons, so we got to see like the hammer and the insect glaive. And hammer had some new crazy attacks to it, you know, new mounting attacks. Insect glaive had some new crazy Cirque du Soleil bullshit.
I love him calling the insect glaive some Cirque du Soleil bullshit. That's so good.
That it was doing, but it looked fairly traditional. I didn't get a chance to analyze everything. And yeah, you take down the monster, and here's the crazy part about it. The monster goes down, the NPC hunters sort of peace out, and you can carve. And it's cool that you don't have to like walk through the monster anymore. You actually walk on top of the monster while carving. I don't know.
That's so cool. No more are we gonna like go inside the monster and like clip through it in order to carve. We literally actually get to fucking be on top of it. That's gonna be so fun. Our immersion.
Carving location is gonna mean anything, but yes, it's the same traditional Monster Hunter stuff. But the quest is the journey's not over. You finish the quest and you're still active, and it goes into like a quest completion sort of screen, but you're still actively moving around the environment. So
very
it doesn't
open world
just
like
finish things anymore. The tradition,
very like expedition like is what it's like basically.
Traditional classic Monster Hunter way of like going out, finishing quests, completing quests, going back. There's more works of like an expedition
Yeah.
in Monster Hunter World, where now the way you engage with the environment is up to your choosing. So if you want to stay there and like, oh, it's the time of bountiful plenty, all these new things for gathering is going to be out there. You're probably going to want to go take advantage of that. It's up to you if you want to start a new quest in the field at that given time, or fast travel back to a camp or something like that. It's not going to limit you by like, oh, I'm decided to this and we're going to do this and go to the bulletin board.
I'm really, really curious about how that works with other people, though. I am so curious how, like, okay, because, like, look at it from, like, a streamer perspective, right? We do, like, one hunt, 3 people join the streamer, and then that hunt's over, and then, like, 3 new people can join and stuff like that, so we can, like, rotate everyone in. But if it's just, like, one shot back to back, like, how do you determine who's going to play with you or not? Or, like, do people... So he said that when the monster died, the NPCs bounced. They left. So does that mean that, like, if you have real people helping you, do they actually get sent back after they help you, or what? I'm so curious on how that's going to work.
You know, and do all that kind of stuff. The quest board, it doesn't want to do that anymore. So... I don't know how there's going to be other modes. They did say it's going to be 4 hunters, you know, in this relative mode. I was like, man, the zone is so big. Like, how are we going to be teaming up with like 16, 32 people? They didn't mention anything like that. It seemed fairly traditional Monster Hunter once you're out there.
But
my God, dude. The hub. The craziest part about this was how good the performance was and how good it looked. The lighting, the transition of the environment, the friggin' monster animations, the hunter animations. There is so much new, insane stuff that it just looks crazy. It looks like a true sequel to Monster Hunter World. Visually, I was blown away. And also the game has food porn. Yes.
Food porn,
when
yay.
you go and cook for yourself now and you go out and like make your own meals in the field, you literally get a super splendorous animated cutscene of insanely high resolution meat and cheese and like vegetables and stuff, and the hunter just like cuts into this delicious looking
okay, his mic keeps going crazy. You think it's gonna be like Dragon's Dogma, where like they just flat out use like a real piece of meat cooking?
Steak and close-ups of mouth and steak, and I'm like, God, and it's like, it's not like, you know, Dragon's Dogma. No, this is all
okay,
in-game
he just
rendered.
said
Bro.
okay, he confirmed it's not
The amount of like budget, time, and resources on display here, this is easily Capcom's biggest game of all time, and I can't even tell you how mind blown I was. I could have gone from those first impressions, but I wanted to go back and watch it again, and a whole bunch of crazy different things happened even on a second playthrough. The game also just kind of had performance issues a couple times. It crashed a couple of times due to so many systems on systems, but to me that was sort of reassuring that this wasn't bullshit. This was an actual game doing this.
I hope I please don't crash while I'm cooking my food, please.
And making and all these systems were functioning. It was nuts. So I know there's going to be more playable stuff in the near future, probably at Gamescom. I hope there will be hands-on and
there will. Well, not hands-on. I don't know about hands-on.
You sound
but
sort of crazy talking about this, in my opinion. And from the perspective that I have of Monster Hunter World still being an incredibly good-looking game, but on an old engine with old hardware, this shit felt next generation.
Dude, I hope my PC can run this.
And on top of all that good news, you know, we got crossplay. Don't even know if we have cross save, but this thing's going to be on PC day one. This shit's going to take over the world, man. I argue that this might be one of the most impressive things I've seen at an E3 event, just behind the scenes. And in terms of this generation, easily one of the most impressive looking games I've seen this generation. I was mind blown. The attention to detail and
I'm kind of scared. I'm kind of scared at how popular Monster Hunter is going to be, man. If it blows up this hard, oh my gosh. This is going to be interesting.
The world that they're making here didn't come across as sort of drab and just sand-like, where it's like, oh, there's just no detail. like we saw in some of the parts of the trailer, no, this shit was ridiculously impressive, and this was not even a big story thing. Either way, I don't think we got any B-roll, unfortunately, to show of this stuff.
Yeah, I mean, every Monster Hunter, like, Rise and World, at least, like, blew up when they first came out. Like, that's no surprise. New game, right? Everyone's gonna hop on, like, the new game hype. They're gonna be like, yeah, it's new. I gotta get on this. It's gonna be great. The main thing I'm wondering is how many are gonna stick around. Is this gonna actually, like, keep the Monster Hunter categories above, like, a consistent 1K right now? Because, like, if you go look at Rise and World right now, they're sitting at 1K, and they've been sitting under 1K for a long time. So I'm really curious if this game is going to be so good and so hyped up that it'll, like, have more longevity.
It's just like the previous trailers as well as screenshots. I hope I don't sound too insane talking about this, but it was very impressive, and easily is one of my most anticipated games of 2025. I'm going to take every opportunity I can to learn more about this, because Monster Hunter Wilds seems to be it. It really is. This is the true sequel to Monster Hunter World. This is Capcom, no holds barred. That was their best-selling game of all time, and they're taking that shit seriously.
Please.
And that's my overall impressions.
He's gonna give everyone the worst idea, and they're gonna start calling it Monster Hunter Worlds 2.
So you guys enjoyed the video. I'll be back with more updates with Monster Hunter Wilds as soon as possible, especially if I get to play it. As always, dudes, I appreciate a thumbs up if you get an opportunity to drop that in here, or leave a comment if you're looking forward to this stuff as much as me. My name is Max, and I'll see you dudes next time.
It's only a sequel if the story is connected. It's not a sequel if it's a different story, if it's a different universe and all that stuff. Okay, 1 second. Okay, I gotta show you this because, or at least I want to look at it. So I've been avoiding Twitter like crazy, but I saw a lot of stuff on Twitter that I was avoiding, and I slightly glanced at it, and I think they went over some things that, like, he did not. So there's this one thing Oceana's posted. Okay, let me save this and put it on screen. So this is what Oceana's put out. So he put out a lot of information. He gathered this, I think, from all the articles that came out about the game, about the hands-off demo. So let's see, what do we already know? The new wounding mechanic happens naturally as you damage the monster. Red scout flies gather to indicate it. Wounded areas can be broken for a burst of damage. So it's just like the Curio stuff. Okay. Focus mode is a positioning tool that ensures your attacks hit more reliably. I am not super into that, but, you know, I'll adjust. It's fine. Like, not my biggest thing I would have wanted in Monster Hunter, but NPC hunters are back. We kind of saw that. Every weapon gets at least one unique attack for focus mode, which we kind of already knew about. There will be moves that involve both weapons that the hunter can bring along. Wait, what? Does it, like, dual wielding or what? What does that mean? What does that mean? Like, I don't know, like combos or what? Like, I'm curious. Like, do you use both at the same time? Like, what's going on? Yeah, or maybe you swap. Maybe, I don't know. That's really vague and doesn't, like, say much. Quests are seamless now. Timer oh, there's still a timer though. He didn't mention that in the video. There is still a timer. Timer seems to start when the player first hits the monster. Okay. So does that mean speedrunners no longer have to, like, worry about, like, where the monster is gonna spawn? Because, like, the timer will start right when you hit the monster the first time. Build temporary camps. Main camps. Oh, temporary. Main camps still exist, and monsters can destroy your temp camps. Yeah, they can destroy it. I'm so sad about that. I hope they don't cost a lot of resources. Maps are 2 times as large as in Monster Hunter World. Many large monsters can appear at once. Bountiful seasons. That's what we saw about, like, the sand going away. The Thunderflying Wyvern will only spawn during storms. Mantles are back, at least the Ghillie Mantle. Damage nubbies are still there. That's okay. I'm not upset about that, but it would have been cool if they weren't there. Sneak attacks now. Mounting is back. We don't know if there's going to be a mini game involved in it or not. The Power Clash mechanic, which we saw. real-time behavior system with a 24-hour cycle that dictates monster behavior. So like the sand versus the sandstorm versus bountiful. Seasons are called the plenty and the fallow. Wait, is the fallow the sandstorm or the lack of sandstorm? In-game forecast for imminent environmental changes. No current plans to add a new weapon. Current, you know, so we could get one eventually, DLC or something. Bowgun types and hunting horns have been changed drastically. Hunting horn is going to be more like World and Rise, which I think a lot of people are going to be happy with. Multiplayer story mode restriction seems to be there, but it's described as more convenient. Please don't make me sniff footprints. Please, no footy prints. That's all I care about. And there was one more. There was actually 2 parts to this. Map menu shows the topography and elevation. Oh, that's kind of cool. Maybe it'll be like way easier to navigate instead of getting so easily lost like in World. Food can be cooked anywhere but requires ingredients. Villages are seamless parts of the locales. No loading screens between them. And villagers react to environmental changes too. I wonder if like a sandstorm hits and then like all the villagers hide. Confirmed to not be one open world, but rather multiple locales, and focus seems to be on reactivity of and to the environment. I'm assuming he means like focus of the game, not like the focus of like the focus mechanic. That's what I'm assuming. My assumption. All right, there is one more image that I saw that I wanted to read. Actually, there's probably more, but this one I really wanted to check out. This is, I think, a dev interview thing. I think this is a dev interview thing. I'm not quite sure, but this is what this is what I saw that made me worried. This is what scared me. I briefly saw the underlined portion of this. And I don't even want to show it because I saw the underlined portion at a glance. And I was like, no! Please, no! There it is. There it is. Let's read the whole thing, all right? Before I start overreacting, let's read the whole thing. As far as we know, the current Monster Hunter games are designed to approach a broader amount of players, which usually means having more accessibility, like the focus mode. Is there anything else to help the player base? The executive director, in the Monster Hunter series, it has always been our goal to make sure that anyone can join the game and enjoy hunting. But it's true, there's still a lot of work to make it enjoyable for new players. I don't want to read this next sentence, dude. I don't want to read this next sentence. I don't. We felt it would help a lot to also add an option to display the monster health bar. This is, of course, optional and only will help the people that never played the series. Anyone can still play the classic way, looking at the monster's damage parts. We really hope this new tool will make the game more attractive for those that don't enjoy it. I am glad it's optional, but you guys, you know my opinion on this already. A health bar in a Monster Hunter game ruins the entire game for me. I will not be using it. The annoying thing is that if you're on hunts with people and they have it, it's going to change the way they play with you. Like, they're gonna either tell you that the monster's low on health, they're going to know when to start doing different things based on a low health bar, things that like people who aren't using the health bar won't know. And that's going to be the frustrating part. Also, I expect that you have read this far because this is obviously event. You just want to give you a small heart attack.
Yeah.
Wait, what? Who edited this? Wait, who did that? Who edited it? The person who posted this? Because I don't even know who posted this. I just got sent this image. Did we get debated? We got so debated. No, don't edit. Don't clip this. Is it the person who made this article that edited it? So what's the real part? What's the real? What did he actually say? What's the actual part? Like, what is the article from this from? Oh my gosh. I was wondering why when I went to... when I was looking at... when we were going over Oceana's tweet, I was like, why didn't he mention the health bar? Like, that would be a really big thing to add. Let's see the real interview, all right? Let's see the real one, even if it is IGN. I think the question they asked was also edited. It's not in here. Yeah, I think they edited the whole thing. Wow, who... The person of that tweet, you suck. The person who made that sucks. Let's see. What do they have to say about Gemma, though? Let's see. What do they have to say about Gemma? Did you expect Gemma to get such a big positive reception? And is she in any way related to Little Miss Forge? Gemma really is kind of like a very important character. She's one of the main support characters, your hunter character. She's a smithy. Let's see. Bright, energetic, blah, blah, blah. But we really hope that's not just with these characters. They also focus more on what we can show in the future, blah, blah, blah. And going up to your follow question, we have also heard the rumors about previous games as well. And all you fuckers, all we can really say at this moment is we just leave it up to your imagination. Wow! You suck. They couldn't even give us that. They couldn't even give us an answer to that. What do you feel, or how do you feel about fans getting the dating sim tag added? It's a bit surprising. We weren't really aware of this, so we do really appreciate the kind of focus players have put on the characters. You appreciate people wanting to bone your characters? We weren't aware that this genre was attached. Oh my gosh. I'm not sure if this I don't think this confirms that Gemma is Lil Miss Smithy. I think that's just more of their way being like, hey, we really love the attention you're giving us right now for all your theories about her being like that. So we're just gonna leave it up to you because we don't want to crush your dreams. And we want you to keep talking about us on Twitter. Oh, the Palico! Can you tell me why you decided to give the Palicos voiceovers in Wilds? The answer is kind of really simple. It is the fact that the Palico and the handler accompany you into the field, and this time in Wilds there are so many different environmental changes and things happening in real time. So there's lots more information to parse, and as support characters, the Palico and the handler, having voices helps the player to understand what's happening, blah, blah, blah. And of course, you can also have it say, meow, 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 meow. Let's go. Let's go. My cat is gonna go meow, 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 meow. Yay, we have been redeemed. Am I missing anything? Did anything else come out? I mean, the Palico being able to go meow, meow, meow is like the best out of all the information we got from this. Camps are cool. They're not like, you know, game breaker. You know, if they were there, it's cool. If they're not there, it's cool. No one's mentioned lobby sides from what I've seen. Oh yeah, they haven't mentioned if we can skip cutscenes. That's a good question. Can we skip them? That is like really, really good to know. Honestly, the best news from this is the Palico being able to go meow, 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 meow. Everything else is like... Oh, and the carving. I love the carving. I love that we can actually like climb on top of the monster and carve. Like imagine if it's a giant monster, like a colossal. How are we gonna climb on? Oh, we're gonna have to climb on top of him and carve? Oh my god. Imagine if SOS is crossplay but no cross party. No, don't do us like that. No Exoprimal, please. We're gonna be like climbing onto a colossal monster's toe and just like carving from the toe. Oh my gosh, that'll be fun. Wait, 100%. I want to be able to upswing you and get you to go up to the high part of the dead monster to carve from there. That'll be so fun. And oh, and the bomb thing, I'm kind of scared about being able to throw bombs just because like I don't trust my aim. Well, that was exciting. We got some new information. So it's the summary of the information: camps, the changes with hunting horn and bowgun, being able to make our palico go meow 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 meow, the different environmental changes, which is really cool. I'm actually really excited about the environmental changes. The fact that there will be a hub, but there's also seamless questing, which just kind of created more questions than answering any. Oh man, there's a lot. Oh, eating on the hunt and cooking on the hunt, not just eating on the hunt but actually cooking on the hunt. Mounting is gonna come back. Bowling with barrel bombs. I think that's it. I think that's like about all the good stuff we got. That we, besides the stuff we already knew. Shall we play some Monster Hunter GU now? Shall we actually play video game? As video game.